So welcome to today's Greater Life CoffeeCast. With today being the pillar of home and of course our week's theme of gratitude, today's CoffeeCast is a bit of a flip of the script, because we're going to discuss the dark side of gratitude when it comes to relationships, particularly intimate relationships. Now, if you were being pedantic, you may well decide that as I lay out my case here for the dark side of gratitude, that we're actually not really talking about gratitude at all. However, it is relevant here because very often the phenomenon we're going to discuss masquerades as gratitude. Okay? So what I'm actually talking about here is the phenomenon of placing your partner or your friend, someone on a pedestal. And the issue with this is very often it masquerades as gratitude of like, oh, I'm so grateful you chose to be my partner. I'm so grateful you chose to be my friend, right? And if we were actually going to be real about what's going on, the clarity is that the true statement would go something like, I don't feel worthy of your friendship, therefore I'm pretending I'm grateful, when actually I don't feel worthy and I'm scared I'm going to be rejected. And, of course, it seems so... it seems a bit harsh maybe to lay it out like that. But let's be real, if that's what's going on. How do I know? Because that characterized how I showed up in relationships for years. So please, I hope you get by now that in these coffee casts, this is not me being perfect. This is me sharing, my shit that I've gone through and sometimes I'm still going through, and sharing it so that it may be of value to you. So how this showed up for me is that I was so terrified of being rejected in relationships that I would confer some very unfair qualities on the person I was in a relationship with. I would assume that they were in some way better than me. I would assume that they were, let's say, more sexually advanced than me, more beautiful than me, more intelligent than me. All of these ways in which I somehow, lucked out by being with them. And on the flip side as well, I also did the opposite. I also would put myself on a bit of a pedestal to make myself feel better. So I had this terrible dynamic where in some instances I'd be placing my partner up on a pedestal, and in other instances I'd be raising myself up on a pedestal. And of course, all that would happen is that there would just be this vast disconnection. And underneath it all, a profound sense of unworthiness, a profound lack of self-love, and therefore also a profound incapacity to hold healthy, clean boundaries around what I wanted and to be able to ask for what I wanted in a relationship, and indeed for my partner to do the same. And what it meant was, particularly in my relationship from a year or so ago, was that I tolerated things that, looking back, I was just flabbergasted that I tolerated. And indeed, my partner then probably tolerated things from me that she would look back on now and be like, oh my God, what was I doing, right? But it was because on some level we'd both put each other on a pedestal. And therefore we weren't dealing with the core truth. And we also weren't connected to our real and core truth. And therefore were unable to recognize the facts from a fiction. And this really is the dark side of gratitude, where if we show up placing people on a pedestal, if we show up feeling unworthy to be in connection with this person, then what it obfuscates is the truth of a situation. We cannot see the facts. And as a result, we operate and we build a relationship based on a fiction. And then when that fiction ultimately blows up, as it must, when the truth ultimately gets revealed, it's insanely painful. So that is my question to you today. Is where are you falling foul of the dark side of gratitude? Where are you placing others on a pedestal and denying your own power, your own worth, your own value. And as a result, where are you therefore not able to ask for what you need, and therefore not getting what you want? And it can be sobering and humbling to actually realize this truth, to connect with it, to understand it, to see it. And, as the saying goes, the truth shall set you free. Because when you can let go of the false gratitude, the feeling of unworthiness of being in connection, and step fully into the truth that you are an infinite immortal soul who has come to this earth to share gifts of unparalleled beauty, power and majesty, then any person you connect with, you're on their level. Because they too are just the same in their own unique way, and therefore you build from your immortal souls, not from the conditioned personality and ego. So, how about today is the day when any dark gratitude gets laid to rest and you step fully into the beauty and majesty of your truth.